My name is Erika, and I'm a senior visual designer. A visual designer is someone who uses iconography, typography, color, space, and textures in their products to create consistent and accessible design patterns. For example, if you were to look at an app, pretty much anything you see on the surface, the buttons, the colors, the typography, the white space around all of those elements is what a visual designer would be responsible for. During my last year of college, I worked at a web design and development agency where I got a ton of experience with graphic design and actually UX design before I even knew what that was. From there, I went to work at a startup called Waze before they were acquired by Google. And there I was hired just as a general designer where I worked on things like our website, our app, designing little icons, illustration, research. I was considered a generalist and I worked on a lot of different design roles. From there, we were acquired by Google. And so my role became a little bit more formalized. And I was technically a UI designer, but I still was a generalist and I worked a lot on marketing design, the app UX, and as well as a lot of web design for things like dashboards and analytics. I kind of branched out to the visual design path at Google, and that's what I've been ever since for the last few years. As a generalist designer, you work on a bunch of different things, from interaction design and visual design to user research. This would typically happen at maybe a startup or an agency where you work on a variety of different projects. And your responsibility depends on whatever hat you need to wear that day. Some of the benefits of being a generalist designer are that you can learn a ton, and oftentimes this will be in like a fast-paced environment. So you don't really have time to stop and really go deep into any of these roles. Rather, you just learn by doing, and it's a really quick and effective way of seeing what all the possibilities are within UX. At bigger companies, there are specialist designers. For instance, at Google, there are interaction designers, visual designers, UX engineers, UX writers, and UX researchers. For these roles, the expectations are a little bit more clear for you. So you'll be evaluated based on what work you're doing specifically within a product. So a UX writer will be responsible for all of the copy and all of the strings throughout any product you might see. And they are, within their team, known to be the expert in their field. The benefits of being a specialist are that the expectations are very clear for what your role is, and there are a ton of resources that you can continue to just develop your expertise. And what I like about being a specialist is that I know that anyone on my team trusts and knows my work and can come to me with any of their visual design problems. Having been both a generalist and a specialist, I've really, really enjoyed both. And especially earlier on in my career, being a generalist, it was a really good way for me to ramp up on all things UX. I got to work on such a variety of projects, and it really, really helped me hone my craft. Once I had been in the UX space for a while, I realized that I really was kind of more drawn to visual design challenges, and that's what kind of led me along the visual design path. And so now being a specialist, it feels good to know that you're kind of an expert in your field. And so I can definitely see the benefits in both being a generalist and a specialist, and maybe more so being a generalist when you're first starting out.